A new Wordle puzzle is online. Click on the link to play.
Listening to the following video may give you clues. Please like and share the videos.
RaDonda Vaught receives 3 years probation. In a shocking ruling, RaDonda Vaught has been sentenced to 3 years of supervised probation.
The nurse, who injected the wrong medication into Charlene Murphy and then died, has been found guilty of criminally negligent homicide and gross neglect of an adult. Hundreds of letters and emails were sent to the nurse's office, and her own son testified against her, serving time.
RaDonda Vaught faces up to 8 years in prison. Despite the public outcry over the charges, the court has handed down a sentence that could have a profound impact on the lives of Murphy's family.
The charges against RaDonda Vaught, a registered nurse, are both serious and carry heavy prison sentences. If convicted, Vaught faces up to 8 years in prison.
Her sentence, however, is less than the maximum. Instead of serving that time, Vaught will serve 3 years of supervised probation.
If Vaught successfully completes her probation, she will not have to serve any prison time, and nurses from across the nation have come to support RaDonda Vaught, some wearing purple t-shirts with the words "I am RaDonda" on them.
Some also held placards that "Side mistake is not murder" throughout the rally. Supporters have given powerful speeches to support Vaught and the nurses who are trying to free her.
This is a critical time in the lives of nurses. The nursing profession is already under a tremendous amount of stress and shortage.
Adding to the shortage is the pandemic effect. A convicted nurse has a long-term, damaging impact on the profession.
The sentencing of RaDonda Vaught will set a chilling precedent in nursing. Nursing professionals have rallied to defend RaDonda Vaught, who will be sentenced in May.
In an effort to save her patients' lives, Vaught has already received a 3-year probation for her mistake, but she faces up to 8 years in prison. The trial was held after the public outcry for RaDonda Vaught's case, despite the lack of evidence to prove her guilt.
During the trial, the nurses and other health care workers gathered outside the courthouse, cheered and cried in opposition to the sentence, and urged the judge to sentence Vaught to judicial diversion. She injected vecuronium instead of sedative Versed.
In February, the doctor who injected Charlene Murphy with a sedative was arrested after she accidentally injected vecuronium instead of the calming drug Versed. The sedative, which should have induced sleep, did not work.
Murphy was brain dead within 30 minutes. Vaught was charged with reckless homicide and gross neglect of an impaired adult.
The death certificate, which was originally issued identifying the victim as having suffered cardiac arrest and an intracerebral hemorrhage, was later changed to indicate that Vaught had been injected with vecuronium. This new certificate was issued without an autopsy.
The nurses who worked on the case have rallied outside the courthouse in protest. Das office alleges that Vaught had to override 5 warnings before she could inject Versed.
Vaught failed to recognize that Versed was a powder and had to be mixed with liquid. She also did not read the bottle cap, which stated, "Warning, this medication is a paralyzing agent."
Vaught admits she was distracted when she searched for the medication, but only realized she had administered the wrong one after Murphy collapsed. Indeed, although the case is still pending, the hospital has taken action.
The hospital has since upgraded its electronic record system, which meant that the nurses were delayed in retrieving medications from automated drug dispensers. However, the new system did not have a scanner in the imaging area.
The hospital will not have a chance to improve this problem, and the nurses may be forced to leave the profession. Her distraction contributed to her error.
While the crime may seem like an innocent one, it isn't. The court found that RaDonda Vaught was distracted and made the fatal error while trying to save Murphy.
That distraction caused Vaught to miss a warning sign and miss Murphy by several inches. The jury found Vaught guilty of manslaughter and negligent homicide.
In addition to her criminal conviction, she also faces a mandatory sentence of 7 years in prison. The drug that Vaught accidentally gave Murphy was a liquid that requires mixing with a liquid before being administered.
That meant Vaught was distracted and didn't notice that the medication was not mixed with fluid. The patient was left unresponsive for nearly half an hour after Vaught administered the medication.
The error was discovered after Murphy was found unresponsive. After admitting her error, Vaught was fired and will have to serve jail time.
Murphy's case was particularly serious. Her medical team expressed concern that the PET scan would have to be rescheduled if the patient's condition was serious.
At the time, Vaught was serving as a help-all nurse, teaching a nursing student how to perform bedside swallow evaluations. It is believed that the distraction contributed to her error.
The hospital declined to comment on the matter, citing privacy concerns. The hospital has been under investigation for months after Murphy's death, but the nurse's distracted state of mind contributed to her error.
The hospital has agreed to pay Murphy's family a settlement, but the punishment Vaught faces is severe. In addition to her incarceration, Vaught was stripped of her nursing license.
But she has yet to learn the full extent of her guilt. She expressed deep remorse for the error.
The district attorney's office has issued a statement regarding the case, in which RaDonda Vaught was found guilty of making a medical mistake. Nurses from around the country are now protesting the sentence, and one Nashville nurse is even requesting clemency.
The Nurses Union, which represents nurses, has been in the forefront of the fight for clemency for Vaught. The Nurses Union feared Vaught would go to prison, and thousands of nurses, certified nursing assistants, and family members attended the rally to show their support for Vaught.
The judge said that although Vaught was found guilty of an unintentional medical error, she had no prior convictions and was sincerely remorseful for her mistake. In fact, the judge said that the leniency she received for her mistake was well deserved, and hoped that changes in the system would help prevent such incidents from happening again.
Despite the conviction, Vaught is not allowed to work in the medical field for the rest of her life while a Vanderbilt University Medical Center doctor.
Vaught mistreated Charlene Murphy while she awaited a standard scan. She administered her wrong sedative instead of the one intended for a sedative.
She was supposed to override the automatic medication dispenser's safety feature, but failed to notice the red flags that made her mistakenly administer the wrong medication. Vaught's case captured the nation on social media, and hundreds of thousands of people stayed tuned to the trial proceedings.
Despite her recent conviction, RaDonda Vaught is not facing the loss of her job or her freedom. The former nurse at Vanderbilt University Medical Center has received 3 years probation for her actions.
Her sentence is a result of a medication error that could have resulted in the death of a patient. RaDonda Vaught will receive 3 years probation on the error to avoid facing jail time.
Her sentence will be expunged if she completes a 3-year probation. The petition that has been collecting signatures for RaDonda Vaught's clemency has nearly 212,000.
On Friday, several hundred supporters gathered outside of the courthouse to show their support for Vaught. In a brief moment of silence, supporters remembered Charlene Murphy, the woman who was killed by Vaught and her husband in 2007.
The family of Murphy testified about the fatal medication mix-up and said that Charlene would not want anyone to suffer as she did. The judge weighed the remorse of Vaught and her honesty in sentencing her to 3 years of probation.
While Vaught received a suspended sentence, she apologized to Murphy's family and apologized for distracting the family by giving her the wrong medicine. Her conviction galvanized healthcare workers across the country, and several nurses have now quit bedside nursing due to the incident.
Despite the lengthy sentences, RaDonda Vaught will be able to complete her probation if she successfully completes it. The sentence, which carries a potential sentence of 1 to 6 years, will be expunged if she completes the 3-year probation period.
She will receive no prison time if she successfully completes her probation year. RaDonda Vaught is on a probation for 3 years following her conviction of criminal negligence of an adult.
Her case was a rallying cry for nurses who are afraid to commit crimes. However, there are several options available for RaDonda Vaught to achieve this.